There is a space waiting for you here, a quiet corner where the noise of the day fades away and true rest can begin. Close your eyes gently and allow your body to settle into the support beneath you. Take a slow breath in, drawing the air deep into your lungs, and then let it out slowly, releasing any tension that has gathered in your shoulders, your jaw, and your brow. This is not a command. It is an invitation to simply be right here, right now. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Our minds are like rivers, always flowing, a relentless current of thoughts, memories, worries about the future, and echoes of the past. We mistake this flow for reality, letting the river dictate our pace and our peace. Stress often arises when we try to fight this flow, trying to stop the current or force the water to freeze. But that is an exhausting effort. Instead, let us pause for a moment and simply observe the movement. The nature of stress lies in our tendency to live either entirely in the future, anticipating what might happen, or entirely in the past, replaying what has gone wrong. We are pulled away from the only place we actually inhabit, this single, fragile moment. The secret to easing the grip of stress is not stopping the flow of thoughts. That is impossible, but learning how to shift our attention. It is about finding an anchor point, a still center within the swirling movement of the mind. Zen teaches us that stillness is not something you must achieve through strenuous effort. It is something you simply return to. Imagine your awareness as a gentle light. When the thoughts rush by, like clouds across the sky, we don't need to chase them or judge them. We just gently notice where they are passing. We bring our attention back to the simple, undeniable reality of this very breath, the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. This act of returning is the invitation to stillness. It is a soft redirection of energy that tells the restless mind, we are here now. When we consciously choose to rest in the present moment, we create space between ourselves and the demands of our external world. The worries may still exist, but they no longer have the power to pull us into a state of frantic anxiety. We learn that the source of true peace is not found in escaping life, but in finding deep presence within it. This practice is not about emptying your mind. It is about softening your relationship with your thoughts. Think of your thoughts as leaves floating on a calm stream. You don't need to grab every single leaf and hold it tight. You simply watch them drift by, acknowledging their presence without clinging to the story they tell you. Observe the worries as they arise, notice them gently, and then allow them to float away, like gentle ripples fading into the distance. This invitation is for you to give yourself permission to let go of the need to control everything. Let the effort dissolve. Allow your body to soften. Release the tension held deep within the muscles. Feel the weight of your body settling deeper into the surface beneath you, supported and safe in this moment. This is where we begin our journey toward finding that deep rest, a quiet place where true presence resides. Breathe in peace. Breathe out the day, and allow yourself to drift into stillness. We invite your attention now to the space between what you think and what you feel. In this quiet space, we begin to understand the nature of that internal movement, the constant flow of our minds. When we talk about stress, it is often an external phenomenon, a deadline, a difficult conversation, a demanding schedule. But true stress begins not with the event itself, but with our response to the event. Our minds are ceaseless rivers, always moving from one thought to the next, pulling us forward into stories of what was or what might be. This flow is natural. It is simply the way consciousness operates. The challenge lies not in stopping the current, which is impossible, but in learning how we navigate it without being swept away by the undertow. Think of your mind as a vast, open sky. Constantly, clouds, thoughts, memories, anxieties drift across the blue expanse. Some are heavy and dark, bringing with them the weight of yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears. Others are light and fleeting, like wisps of white vapor, simply passing through. The stress arises when we mistake every cloud for the entire sky, when we attach ourselves desperately to the heavy ones, trying to hold onto them, or pushing away the light ones in a futile attempt to silence the darkness. This clinging is what creates tension. When we resist the flow, when we fight against an anxious thought by trying to force it out, we introduce friction. This resistance is where stress builds. It is the effort of holding on, the internal struggle against the natural rhythm of our experience. We are constantly engaged in a mental dance, reacting to the stream instead of simply allowing ourselves to be carried along. The key to softening this grip lies in shifting our perspective from being the content of our thoughts to being the space in which our thoughts occur. You are not your worries. You are the awareness that observes them. Imagine yourself sitting quietly beside that flowing river of thought. The thoughts continue to arrive. They ripple and rush by. But now you are positioned on the bank, watching the water move. This is the core practice, cultivating presence. When a worry arises, a memory surfaces about a past mistake, or an anticipation spins around a future event, do not immediately jump into the story. Simply notice it. See it as a sensation in your body, a flicker of energy in your mind. Acknowledge the thought gently, perhaps by mentally labeling it, there is worry, or there is planning. This simple act of observation creates a crucial space between you and the thought. It allows you to recognize that the thought is not an absolute reality. It is merely a passing event within your awareness. By observing without attachment, we stop feeding the cycle of stress. We realize that the energy we expend worrying is often just resistance against what naturally is. When you allow the thoughts to float by, seeing them as temporary phenomena rather than commands or facts, the grip loosens. You are no longer fused with the anxiety. You are simply the calm awareness watching the anxiety pass through. This shift from reaction to observation changes everything. It transforms the turbulent flow of mind into a gentle current we can ride, rather than a raging storm we must fight. The stress does not vanish instantly, but its power over you diminishes because you have created space for peace in the very act of noticing. Allow this presence to settle within you now. Breathe into this observation. Let the flow be. We have learned how to observe the flow of our thoughts, recognizing them as temporary events rather than absolute realities. We have created space between ourselves and the worry, allowing the stress to pass through us without consuming us. Now, we turn our attention to the core principle, finding the Zen anchor, the practice of returning fully to the present moment. The mind, by its very nature, is restless. It is a constant traveler, either rushing ahead into future anxieties or dwelling in the echoes of past concerns. Stress arises when we try to hold onto things that are inherently fluid and momentary. We seek stability in a world defined by change, and the most effective way to find stillness is not to stop the flow, but to gently redirect our attention back to the now. Imagine your awareness as a boat on a vast, moving river. The thoughts and emotions are the currents, some swift and strong, others slow and meandering. When we are stressed, we are fighting against the current, trying desperately to push the water into a still pool. This struggle only creates more tension. True stillness is found not in stopping the flow, but in letting go of the effort to fight it. The anchor is the point where you consciously place your attention. It is the gentle, undeniable reality of this very moment. Right now, here and now. We can find this anchor not by searching for some magical silence, but by noticing the physical experience immediately available to us. Let us bring that anchor down into your body. Feel the weight of your body resting against the surface beneath you. Notice the simple, rhythmic act of breathing. This is your constant companion, always present, always right here. The breath is the perfect anchor because it exists only in this moment. It is not a plan for tomorrow and not a memory of yesterday. It is simply the inhale and the exhale unfolding before you. When the mind begins to wander, as it inevitably will, do not judge the wandering. Do not criticize yourself for being distracted. Simply notice where your attention has drifted, and with profound kindness, Gently guide it back to the sensation of the breath. Perhaps you feel a tightness in your shoulders, or a hum of noise from the outside world. Instead of engaging with that sensation as a problem, allow it to be simply observed, like a cloud passing across the sky. Acknowledge it. Ah, there is tension. And then gently return your focus to the anchor of the breath. This simple act of returning is powerful. It is not about emptying the mind. It is about shifting the quality of your relationship with what is happening inside you. When we consistently choose the present moment as our home, we create a sanctuary that stress cannot penetrate. We stop living in the hypothetical future or the regretful past, and instead find deep rest in the tangible reality of this single breath. Allow yourself to settle into this anchor. Let the rhythm of your breathing become the steady, unwavering center of your experience. There is nothing more urgent than this moment. You are not required to solve anything right now. You are only required to be here. Rest in the certainty that this present moment is all there is. Deep rest comes from simply allowing yourself to be still within it. We have found a way to anchor ourselves in the present moment, observing thoughts like clouds passing across the sky, acknowledging their presence without needing to chase them or resist them. Now, we move into the practice of softening that grip, the very act of letting go of the tension that arises when we try to hold on to our thoughts as if they were solid things. This is not about stopping your mind. It is about changing the way you interact with it. Imagine your mind is a river, constantly flowing with ideas, worries, memories, and plans. When we are attached, we treat these thoughts like obstacles or commands. We immediately jump onto the current, trying to stop it or redirect it. This creates friction, stress, and that tight feeling in our chest. The practice of softening the grip is simply allowing yourself to watch the river flow by. You remain on the bank, observing the movement of the water, recognizing each thought as a temporary wave, knowing that it will rise and eventually recede. When a thought arises, perhaps a memory of yesterday or a worry about tomorrow, instead of immediately engaging with its content or judging yourself for having it, simply notice it. See it as an event happening within your awareness. Think of your thoughts as leaves floating on the surface of a calm lake. You are not the water. You are the space in which the water moves. When a leaf floats by a thought, you don't need to grab it and pull it under. You simply notice its color, its shape, and its movement across the surface. Acknowledge, ah, there is a thought about work, or ah, there is a feeling of restlessness, and then gently, without judgment, let it drift away. This detachment is not an act of denial. It is an act of spaciousness. It means recognizing that you are the awareness behind the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. When we stop clinging to our thoughts, we release the enormous energy we spend fighting against them, and suddenly the grip loosens. The stress doesn't vanish instantly, but the frantic effort required to maintain the tension dissipates. Let this be your gentle instruction. When you notice a thought pulling your attention away, do not follow it immediately. Do not become entangled in the story it begins to tell. Instead, pause. Take a breath and gently return your awareness to the simple physical sensation of the present moment. The feeling of the air entering your body, the weight of your body resting on the surface beneath you. Allow the thought to simply be there like a distant sound. You can acknowledge its presence without needing to act on it. You are not the thinker. You are the space where thinking occurs. By observing this separation, the space between yourself and the thought, you create distance. This distance is where peace resides. It is the gentle space that allows deep rest to settle in. As you continue this practice, let your attention soften further. Let any lingering resistance dissolve like mist in the morning sun. You are simply allowing things to be as they are, without demanding they be otherwise. There is nothing left to hold on to. Only stillness remains. We arrive now at the point where observation transforms into surrender. This is the space of acceptance, the gentle yet profound realization that we do not need to fight what is. We have learned to observe the flow of our minds, And now we are ready to allow the current to move through us without resistance. Imagine your mind as a river. In the previous steps, we practiced being the bank, watching the water flow by. Now, we learn that the effort to stop the river is only what creates friction and stress. True stillness is not achieved by stopping the flow, but by releasing the need to control the direction of the current. Stress, in its essence, is a form of resistance. It is the tension created by the gap between what we expect to happen and what actually happens. When we hold on to desires, when we cling to outcomes, or when we push against an uncomfortable feeling, we create this friction. We are constantly trying to force reality into our preferred shape, and that effort drains our energy, leaving us exhausted and restless. Embracing acceptance is simply acknowledging the present moment exactly as it is, not judging it, not wishing it were different, but recognizing its inherent nature. It is not passive resignation. Rather, it is an active recognition of reality. When a thought arises, instead of immediately labeling it as a problem or pushing it away, we grant it permission to exist. We allow the feeling of anxiety, the whisper of worry, to be present alongside our breath. This act of non-judgmental witnessing creates an immediate distance between ourselves and the emotional turmoil. Think of holding a heavy stone. The effort to lift it quickly causes strain in your shoulders. The effort to resist its weight causes fatigue. Acceptance is like setting the stone down gently. You acknowledge its presence, feel its weight, but you stop exerting the energy to change it. You simply let it be where it is. This release is not emptiness. It is a deep, quiet settling. It is finding the immense strength that lies within the acceptance of what is, rather than the exhausting struggle against what is not. This letting go extends beyond thoughts and emotions. It involves releasing the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, the narratives of failure, expectation, and future anxiety. These stories are merely mental habits, woven threads of memory, and they hold us captive in the past and the future. When you release the need to be perfect, or the fear of what might happen tomorrow, you create space for true freedom. You stop trying to manage the external world and begin to rest within your own inner landscape. Allow yourself to soften your grip on these mental burdens. See them as clouds passing across the sky. They are real, they are moving, but they are not you. You are the vast, calm space that holds the sky itself. In this space, there is no need for striving, no need for grasping. There is only rest. This acceptance deepens your presence, allowing you to inhabit the present moment fully, without distraction or internal conflict. Let the energy that was spent on resistance now flow into deep tranquility. Allow yourself to be held by simple, profound stillness. Rest in this gentle knowing. There is nothing left to hold on to. Only peace remains. May this acceptance bring you a profound and healing rest. We have spent time exploring the nature of thought and learning how to gently observe the stories our minds tell us about ourselves, the expectations, the fears, the habits woven into the fabric of our daily lives. We learned that true freedom is found not in fighting these narratives, but in releasing the need to hold on to them. Now we arrive at the deepest part of this journey: deep rest and integration. This is not merely the pause between actions. It is the state where all that release settles, where the space created by letting go becomes the foundation for lasting tranquility. Imagine that the stillness you have cultivated is not a temporary reprieve, but an inner landscape you are slowly learning to inhabit. It is the quality of being that remains when the noise of the external world fades away. When we integrate this practice, we stop viewing peace as something we achieve and then lose, and start seeing it as a natural state within us, an inherent capacity. Deep rest is not just about shutting down the mind before sleep. It is about allowing the body to fully receive the gift of presence. It is softening the muscles that have been tense from holding onto old tensions, allowing the breath to settle into a rhythm that speaks of deep, unhurried calm. Feel the weight of your body against the surface beneath you, and notice how easily the awareness shifts away from planning or worrying, settling instead into simple sensory experience. Integration means recognizing that this profound stillness is not separate from life. It is the very essence of living fully within the moment. When you rest in this state, you allow the gentle knowing to permeate your entire being. You stop holding the peace just for the session, and instead, you allow it to flow into the physical cells of your body, softening the edges of stress held deep within your muscles and bones. Think of the stillness as water. It does not fight the container. It simply fills every space available. As you rest, let this quiet awareness wash over you. Notice where tension still lingers, perhaps in the shoulders, the jaw, or the pit of the stomach, and with gentle, non-judgmental attention, invite that tension to soften. Do not try to fix it. Merely allow it to relax into the deep support of the present moment. This is the art of sustained peace. It means understanding that your internal landscape is vast and calm, and you are simply resting within that expanse. There is nothing left for you to grasp or manage. The energy that was once spent on resistance now flows freely, creating a profound sense of ease. You are not striving, you are simply being. Allow yourself to rest in this gentle knowing. You are held. You are supported. In the quiet space of deep rest, allow the silence to speak to your soul, reminding you that true peace is not something external to be found, but an internal quality to be inhabited. Let this integration become your new natural state, a quiet anchor from which you can draw calm whenever you need it. Rest now. Rest in the depth of this peaceful knowing. May this deep stillness carry you into a restorative sleep, filled with profound and healing tranquility.